Hello and welcome to Prairie Pulse. Coming up a little bit later in the show, we'll meet the 2019 High School North Dakota Poetry Out Loud winner. But first, joining me now is Natalie Sparrow, the director of Ultimate Studios.
Correct.
And so, Natalie, first as we get started, tell the folks a little bit about yourself and your background.
Yes, I actually grew up in Crosby, North Dakota, a small town of about 1,200. I have a twin sister, identical, although we're mirror image. I'm left-handed, she's right-handed, and we were adopted by the Knutson family in Crosby. And I always say I'm practically Canadian because we grew up on the Canadian border, so my Canadian friends love that about me. And then I won't say the year, but at some point in my life, I moved to North Dakota State University, or moved to Fargo to go to North Dakota State University, and I studied theater and fashion design.
Okay. Well, let's start with, what is Ultimate Studios?
Ultimate Studios is a new branch off of my company, Ultimate Image, and we actually just launched in April, so last month, and had a fantastic grand opening. And I decided in February that I needed something more for my actors, and they were meeting every Sunday and working on improv and scene setting. I thought, I need to do more for them. So what I did is expanded to a training center, an official training center for TV, film, and improv actors, which we don't have in Fargo. Mm-hmm. We have Martin Jonason with the acting studio, who has been phenomenal at training our actors. He does one-on-one coaching. We've brought him in for a couple workshops here and there, but we wanted something more consistent and open to the public.
Well, so how many businesses do you have? I mean, how does that work?
Well, in the studios, it's just a training center. Mm-hmm. Oh, how many businesses do I have?
Yeah.
Ultimate Image is the umbrella for the agency side of my business. So I represent models and actors and social influencers. And I also am a makeup artist. I do a multitude of different things. And then now the training center.
Okay. Well, then talk about your acting background.
So I studied theater in college, and I really was a workaholic, so I was ready to get out of college. So I worked in the production side of the theater department more than I did acting, because that had to be my minor, with my major being fashion design. I needed something to coincide with that. So I spent more time in the costume shop, the makeup side of it, which is why I'm a makeup artist as well, and the props side of it, which I did not like at all. I wanted to act. And I was able to do a couple small roles, but my big break was The Skin of Our Teeth by John Thornton Wilder. And I was the lead. I was Sabina that year. And I actually had a very good review. It was fantastic. I had to play 3 different characters.
So you read your reviews?
I do. I did. Back in the day, they had reviews. I don't know if they still do, but it was a fantastic review, especially with my only major role that I ever had in the theater department. Had I known what I know now, film would have been ultimately my direction I wanted to go. But I did a lot of modeling in those days, so that was a little bit more of a focus. I did a lot of runway shows. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, what about your background in managing talent?
Yes, so ironically, when I was about to leave Fargo to go to LA, I fell in love, and I told him I'll never ever stay in North Dakota, never be married, and never have children. Don't ever say never. It bit me in the butt. But while we decided to stay here, I had to figure out what I was going to do. And my professor at NDSU said, you should start your own business. And I never, ever imagined I could do something like that. So I started my own business as an image and wardrobe consultant. And then in time, I was volunteering in different groups in the community, basically anywhere I felt I could be in production and stage, because I thought that was my in to feeling like I'm in the industry. And so I started assisting and choreographing different fashion shows. And at one of the meetings that we were at for actually the Christmas gift fashion show, one of the board members said, you should start a model and talent agency. And I thought, I was in my 20s. Okay, anything's possible when you're in your 20s, right? So I said, okay, I will. I read a book I called that agent in Chicago that read the book, and I said, I need help. I started an agency. I don't know what I'm doing. I wasn't very confident in those days. And she said, well, congratulations, you're doing your job. And hung up the phone. We are now friends, but at the time that was just business. And I really had to find out the hard way how to run a model and talent agency in Fargo, North Dakota. It has not been easy. It's had a lot of downs. We've had, when the economy was hit hard, we really took a big hit that year. Now that social media is a big thing, that's been a bit of a challenge. But one thing that I knew how to do was meet people and get out and get into the community and get to know as many people as I could to help get my talent opportunities. And that was my drive. That was my drive, is I need to do something for my talent. I have models and actors now. What am I going to do for them? And the doors just always opened up. I work with really great people at some of the local ad agencies who were very welcoming to, I said, we've got Martin Jonason as our acting coach. We've got good actors. I know they'll do great for you on television. And that's how we got into working in TV commercials.
Yeah, okay. Well, you talked about ups and downs a little bit. So is there really enough business in this area to kind of keep the company going?
Well, I do have to do a million other things in order to really keep the business going. But my focus is to develop talent and get them ready for the national market. So I do tell everybody who comes to meet with me to audition with our agency, I say, Fargo's not my focus. This is a great place to develop. This is a fantastic place, an affordable place, with acting coaches starting at $35 versus LA $150 an hour. Build your business here. It's like your college town, and then move into the big markets where the work is. And a lot of times, it's exactly what my focus is, to get them ready and then place them with agents in the major markets. So I'm like a manager. For the modeling side of it, we called myself a mother agent.
Okay.
Funny, because I never wanted to be a mom in the day, so it's hilarious.
Well, you said you've just started with this one, so how's it going so far?
The training center has been, our goal is to work up doing all the marketing and build up for the summer. So we knew in April coming into it that April and May is a busy time for schools, awards banquets, state programs with high school and grade schools. Kids are busy right now, graduation this month. So we actually have our first weekend program this coming Saturday. And then we will have various programs happening throughout the summer, and of which our website is constantly getting updated with new programs that we have coming our way.
When you say various programs, can you talk about some of the programs you've got coming up?
I sure can. One of our biggest day-long, I don't want to call it a camp, but program, is called the Immersion Program. And that will be a very common term in the Ultimate Studios that we will be using to promote to everybody throughout the year. And we'll have an immersion program once a month that has a full days of different workshops, different seminars that people maybe who are like, I don't know if I want to do this. Is this something my kid could do? And they can get involved. So we have kids programs, teens, and adults. So ages 4 all the way up to 150 in all ages. So that is one of the things that we'll be doing monthly. And then weeknights, we'll have an improv night, we'll have a kids night, we're gonna have scene study night, all kinds of things that they get in LA and New York, but they don't get here. And then this summer we're doing a kids on camera camp, kids, adults, and teens on camera camp. And that'll be 3 days of learning, training, working on the craft, and then 3 days of filming. And they're gonna make a short film.
Okay. Well, now, do you only take 4 and up? I mean, do you start at 4?
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's what you said, obviously.
Yes, we have found that age 4 is when the kids actually start becoming interested in the business, and they can express that they want to do this, which seems very young, but it's amazing how just brilliant 4-year-olds can be, that they know they want to do this. And anything younger than that, it's really more the parent wanting to do it.
Okay. Well, can you tell us about some of the people that are associated with Ultimate Studios and the people you manage?
Absolutely. I've had a great list of phenomenal talent through the years. My most recent talent are so driven. so dedicated. They came to me and said, we want to do an actors night. We want to get together and we're going to coach each other, mentor each other. And my first thought was, this seems like the blind leading the blind because you don't have an acting coach in there. You're all still learning. And I said, well, give it a try, but if you're doing it Sunday nights, I won't be there. So we started that, and I was seeing the confidence grow and how they were inspiring each other based on the knowledge they had. A lot of times we go on tours to the major city. So a good core group of my talent have been to LA, they've been to New York, they've worked with casting directors, they've been working with acting coaches, and they're bringing that back. In my mind, I'm thinking, you're paying for this, why are you giving this away for free? But they want to help each other because they want this so bad in Fargo. And that's why the studios was launched, is because of their drive. Which is pretty cool. Yeah. I know that really probably didn't specifically answer your question.
Well, you hit all around it. But let's talk a little bit about, you talked some about your acting career and then kind of leading up to now managing. Can you talk a little more about that?
Yes, I can. You know, I think a lot of my experience really came from passion and going places. And there were a few different things I was able to do when I was in college to be on set as an audience member or a couple of commercials on the side. But nothing really, I don't think anything that really impacted my career, nothing to write home about. I did a couple modeling things in Minneapolis and in Palm Springs, but again, they didn't really contribute to the acting side of it. The acting side of my business just happened to come because that's what Fargo primarily, we're more commercial actors and models versus runway models. Even though I love producing a fashion show, like that's my love. But I love acting, and I love what television and film can do. And I connected with the right people. I knew right away that I was not capable of coaching actors. So I partnered with Marty Jonason. I went to Marty immediately and I said, I need you. I met you once when I was taking modeling classes myself. And I need you to keep my business strong. And he welcomed me with open arms. And Marty has been the most valuable tool of my life to help me, grow. And he's been there when I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I'd say about twice a year. I'm always like, I don't know if I can do this anymore because it's hard. But my passion is what drives me. And honestly, taking the initiative to say, we're going to LA and I'm going to find the right people to connect me with so that we can make a massive impact. I was also very blessed to meet with a company and organization that brings in agents from all over the world into one location. It's like a conference, and that's called Launch Showcase. And the founders of Launch Showcase, they knew everybody. They connected me to everybody. And so every major agent out there and casting director and acting coach, I was able to just get to know them one-on-one. And it really helped, believe it or not, that Fargo had a movie. Because everybody was so thrilled. I think that was my in. Because I thought, if you don't remember my name, remember that girl from Fargo. And everybody loved it in this business because Fargo was a movie. And in the business, people loved the Coen brothers. People love that. So they're like, the girl from Fargo. And every time I'd call an agent from LA, casting director from New York, I'd say, they may not remember my name, but I'd say, from Fargo. And boom, that got me in. So all of those people really made a big impact to help form the agency, to help get my talent opportunity.
So how difficult is a career, of course, like acting to go into? For me, you always think of the starving actor waiting tables in Hollywood. What's it really like?
It's really like that. It's a big commitment. It's a very competitive market, especially right now. You need to, if you're going to do this, commit to it. And it's not any different than if you have an athlete, like my kids wanted to be professional baseball players. If you want to be a professional baseball player, you put your time in, right? You don't just sit at home and play video games in the off months. My kids learned that the hard way. No, sorry kids. But you need to work on your craft. And a lot of people think, well, I'm just going to sign with an agent and I'm going to be famous. That's not how it works. You need to commit And the other thing, you need to build a resume and have a reel that actually is more than just Fargo, because nobody's going to look at a Fargo resume. So this weekend we brought in Patrick Malone from LA, who is an acting coach, and he has a production studio. So we need my actors to have those connections. Otherwise, you're not going to go anywhere. No one's going to take you serious.
Yeah. Well, can you talk about the local acting and the area theater business? I mean, there's a lot going on. I know in the Fargo area, maybe in Grand Forks, but is there a lot of local opportunity?
There's a lot of theater, tons of theater, and I don't represent theater because it doesn't pay. And so, I mean, it's all community work. Where we focus is our television and film. The commercial business is very good in Fargo. In fact, oftentimes I'll tell a lot of my major city agents and friends, I'll say, we have 10 ad agencies in Fargo. That's pretty impressive. And people are like, even agents come to me and say, how do you get work in Fargo? And then they see what we do. We've got really great television and programs. And then the MSUM student film department is amazing. It's been incredible for us to the point where it's opening a multitude of doors. The last 2 years, we've been really working hard with the MSUM film students, and it's going to get better. I've got a few more secrets that are out there that I'm working on, where our actors are going to get to travel and go to different film festivals and be a part of some major events soon. They don't know that yet, so I can't say anything yet.
Can you talk a little bit more about film acting in North Dakota? A little bit about the opportunities that you've kind of mentioned, but then why movie companies don't do more in North Dakota? Is it a financial situation or lack of financial support from the state?
I do believe we have more films here than most people realize. And I had the opportunity of casting my first film last fall. That was great, the one Cambodian. That was amazing opportunity, and she wants to do more here. The resistance, I think, that a lot of people don't bring the films here is because of the budgets. Because if you can go to Minneapolis or Minnesota and you've got a higher multi-million-dollar budget, here there's just not enough budget or tax incentives to do it. We need to change that.
Mm-hmm. So what does it mean to be a coaching mentor?
So we have 3 different levels of training programs for our actors, and the first level is the beginner level for the actor who's getting familiar with the business, and the actors that are in my agency, this is where I'm giving back to them, is allowing them to coach. I said, this is a training program, this is a program for you, created by you. And so I went to all my actors and said, who would like to mentor beginner actors? And so we have our actors who are coaching mentors, and then we'll have casting directors coming in or video in. And then we also have our intensives then. With the intensives are more with the Patrick Malone or the Martin Jonasons, the master coaches.
Okay. We're almost out of time, but what is your advice for any aspiring young actor or actress out there?
My advice is don't give up. Too many times in North Dakota, we're so protected and we're so humble, and it seems like an unrealistic dream. But the nice thing about the film and television business, it doesn't take a lot of your time. You might be filming for a day, 2 or 3 days, versus working on a project for 5-6 weeks like theater does. So allow yourself to try it, and then don't give up.
Well, we are out of time, but if people want more information about Ultimate Studios, what's the best place for them to go?
Our website, ultimatestudiosfm.com.
All right. Natalie, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Stay tuned for more. Poetry Out Loud is a high school program that encourages students to learn about poetry while they master public speaking skills and build self-confidence. Emily Gilsrud of Wahpeton High School is the 2019 North Dakota Poetry Out Loud champion.
They got old. They got old and died. But first they composed plangent depictions of how much they lost. Poetry Out Loud is a competition where you recite poems and compete against kids all over the state. The stages of competition, you first start in your classroom level, and then you move on to the school-wide level, and then we went on to state. I was actually able to go to state every year of my high school career, so that was really cool. The judges look for how well you understand the poem, if they can tell by the way you're speaking and articulation. All of the poems that you can choose from are on the Poetry Out Loud website. Some of the things you have to look for your poems is one has to be pre-20th century, and then the other one has to be fewer than 25 lines. I just kind of choose by a lot of clicking the random poem button, and then my teachers also sometimes suggest poems too. Light, more light. The shadows deepen and my life is ebbing low. Throw the windows widely open. Light, more light before I go. Softly let the balmy sunshine play around my dying bed. Ere the dimly lighted valley, I with lonely feet must tread. I was very nervous before the first poem, but once I got the first one over with, I felt a lot better.
It gives me great pleasure to announce our 2019 North Dakota State Champion, Emily Gilsrud, Wahpeton High School.
Honestly, I kind of thought poetry was boring. I've just been able to find different kind of poetry, and not all of them are like rhymey, and they can be really interesting actually, and are able to explain emotions so well, and it's really cool. My advice for people would be just to step out of your comfort zone. If you're nervous about speaking in front of people, Poetry Out Loud will give you a lot of confidence. I've gained a lot of confidence performing in front of people, and it's been an amazing experience. She arrived at the country mansion in a silver limousine. She'd sent out invitations and everything. Her name written twice, with ampersand in the middle. The calligraphy of coupling. She strode down the aisle to At Last by Etta James, faced the celebrant like a keen soldier reporting for duty, her voice shaky, yet sure. Poetry Out Loud has been a huge part of my high school career, and I definitely encourage you all to just try out poetry. I'm so glad I did, and I've learned so much about speaking in front of people and also being able to analyze poetry a lot better. It'll definitely be with me for the rest of my life. Quite Frankly, by Mark Halliday, is about a couple that passed away, and this person's talking about their life, and he's like, okay, they died, but look at how many beautiful memories they have now in these photo albums. Quite Frankly, by Mark Halliday. They got old. They got old and died. But first they composed plangent depictions of how much they lost and how much cared about losing. Meantime, their hair got thin and more thin as their shoulders went slumpy. Okay, but not before the photo albums got arranged by them. Arranged with a niftiness. Not just 2 or 3, but 18 photo albums. Yes, 18 eventually. 18 albums proving the beauty of them and not someone else. Them and their relations and friends. Incontrovertible. Playing croquet in that Bloomington yard, floating on those comic inflatables at Dow Lake. Giggling at the Dairy Queen, waltzing at the wedding, building a Lego palace on the porch. Holding the baby beside the rental truck, leaning on the Hemingway statue at Pamplona, discussing the eternity of art in that Sardinian restaurant. Yes. And so, quite frankly, at the end of the day, they got old and died. Okay, sure, but quite frankly, How much does that matter in view of the 18 photo albums, big ones, 13 inches by 12 inches, each full of such undeniable beauty?
Well, that's all we have on Prairie Pulse this week. And as always, thanks for watching.
Funding provided by the North Dakota Council on the Arts and by the members of Prairie Public.